Hello Internet, and welcome to the next episode of The Spit Take. Today we're talking about why apparently every 80s TV household could somehow afford a live-in housekeeper. Oh, that was quick. Do we have a second topic that we could do? Oh, good. You're listening to New Slaves off Kanye West's album Yeezus, and speaking of people who invent new ways to be obnoxious and a genius at the exact same time, today's episode is about...
My mama was raised in the era when...
Now, don't confuse not caring and not giving a f***. People who don't care are boring. They say stuff like, that movie tries too hard, and people who don't give a f*** go out of their way to not give a f***. A lot of the time, they care too much. It's just that the thing they care about is making sure you know how little they give a f***.
Doing close, you would have thought I had help, but they wasn't sad.
For the elderly and lazy, making the leap from walking to zipping around in one of those souped-up mobility scooters requires you to embrace a certain amount of shamelessness. Outfitting that mobility scooter with rear-view mirrors, draping it with a fluorescent safety cape, and insisting you have as much right to the road as anyone else, well, that requires that you be completely out of f***s to give. As he drives straight down the middle of the road past one sidewalk access ramp after another, just block after block of completely empty sidewalk, the other side of the road full of the sort of traffic jam he's almost certainly causing for miles behind him, I find it helps the video viewing experience if you imagine he's making race car sounds with his mouth and just laughing his ass off the whole time. Because he probably is.
What you want, a Bentley fur coat?
Little known fact, we have seriously considered just making this show about Russian dashboard cam footage. Whether it's a genetic predisposition to nonchalance or the general sense that Putin is secretly watching and judging their manliness, science has yet to invent the situation that can get a Russian's heart rate to speed up even a little bit. So let's start things off simply. Here's a video of what happens when Russians drive into a river. The answer is, not much. Hey, did we just drive into a river? Yep. Yipperinos. Just drove into the old river. And here we see how a Russian driver responds to getting a front row seat for a scene Americans only get to see in Final Destination movies. Oh, so they have Britney Spears in Russia. And it's considered appropriate explosion watching music. Around the time that the Black Eyed Peas tell us that we are now rocking with will.i.am and Britney, you start wondering, why is everyone just sitting around watching this like a fireworks display? But then, he appears to get a bad feeling and throws it in reverse. Well, throws is kind of a strong word for what he does, which is essentially this. Back it up. 5 miles per hour seems like a reasonable speed to be backing away from this impending explosion. Fucking 5th chemical fire this week. This is much more impressive when you realize he was right. He had enough experience being around giant volatile chemical fires to know an explosion was coming a full minute before it happened. And he spent that full minute just chilling out.
A diamond chain, all you blacks want...
In China, convenience store workers aren't as slavishly devoted to maintaining a high quality of cashiering, so this video might come as a culture shock to anyone who's ever bought something or robbed a convenience store in the Western world.
10月26撬他的收银台，淡定姐玩他的手机游戏，而且
This clerk was robbed 3 times in the span of a few months. That's a horrifying scenario of just compounding PTSD for anyone else. But if anything, this is kind of just f***ing up her texting schedule. She appears to spend each life or death encounter trying to decide if it's rude for her to keep doing what she's doing or if she should act scared. By the 3rd robbery, the robber doesn't even take her phone. He lets her keep texting while he goes to get something to open the locked cash register. Never crosses his mind that she might be using her phone to contact the police. Also, never crosses her mind either. So hey, good judge of character, Chinese armed robbers. They have since been apprehended and presumably executed horribly.
New slaves.
Let me be the first to say that if your job is to suffer the freezing cold, howling winds, and hot sun to bring me packages from Amazon, thank you. If I had my way, you'd all wear capes and drive Batmobiles. All of you, that is, except for this mail carrier. Notice that the grass is green, the sidewalk clear of ice, or dangers of any sort. As she opens the door, you can see her consider throwing the packages at the porch, but she clearly has a meter in her head that calculates the path of least f***s given for all scenarios. It's the same meter that reminded her to change out of her uniform into a hot pink t-shirt between picking up the truck at the post office that morning and making her rounds. Yeah, it would have been easier to just wear the work uniform, but not giving a f*** takes effort sometimes. And changing into her brightest, loudest tee sent a clear message. It may look like I'm on the clock because I'm delivering your mail, but really, you're all on my clock. And it's half past below me. When it comes to whether to throw the mail at the porch or not, the meter tells her that she can actually express less f***s given and the pain in her ass that these people are if she executes the delivery over multiple movements, which body language experts agree must have sounded like this. Oh, you idiot porch. Yeah, nice try. Now, you might assume that that was the end of the performance, but pay attention to the way that she backs her opaque metal box of a truck over the lawn and sidewalk area faster than she actually drove onto the lawn. Notice the way she stops short of the road and makes sure her three-point turn happens all over their stupid lawn. Now, medium talent might have considered their job complete, but she knows her job is never done because she is the Batman of not giving a f***, and this is her uniform.